Hello, everybody. This is Andrew Davis with my co-host Chris Branch, and we are the podcast in a nutshell, where we talk about some of the latest generative AI news or what's happening in the world of AI and marketing, and really for the everyday person. And today, what we're going to be talking about is a recent update by Zoom, actually, who is introducing features to the Zoom. It's kind of more AI assistants to help you take notes, etc., on a Zoom call. And this feature is something that pretty much wiped out a number of different brand organizations that's created the same technology. So really what we want to discuss today is it a good thing that these companies, big companies, are creating content or, well, creating technology that's wiping out third-party platforms? So, Chris, what do you think?
It's a really interesting question, isn't it? For a while now, anybody that's been working from home, they've been using tools to join meetings and make notes. And a lot of these sprung up in the pandemic, especially because everyone got forced to be working from home a lot more.
Yeah.
And we started out with Jasper, then we got TLDV, then we got Syllabus, then there's literally hundreds of companies in this category now. But the platforms that host the meetings themselves, like Google Meet and Zoom, have just announced that they're going to, for free, and that's a big key here. It's not a paid-for upgrade inside the platform, which all of the other ones are separate paid-for upgrades that you need to bring into their platform, going to have these assistants. So it's very difficult to see an entire business model based on a feature that a platform can just roll out quickly and for free.
Exactly. And it's almost like the third-party platforms are doing the research and conducting whether or not it works or not for the big platforms.
100%.
Yeah, I'm sure Zoom and Google were looking at how well it's going, what's the uptake of all of these platforms, seeing that it's doing well, seeing that it's handy for users, and then they create a platform. Well, they create a feature within the platform, as you said, for free, that pretty much just wipes out, well, organizations that's probably taken a lot of seed money, and it's something that I can see happening a lot more.
It's a really tough one. I'll give you a small scale version of it that my friend experienced, actually. He built a Google Chrome extension to make a company page interactor on LinkedIn. And that was a feature that proved very popular. And then eventually LinkedIn clocked onto the fact that many users were using this, so built it inside the platform, and therefore he lost his whole Google Chrome extension businesses as well. Wow. But I think even if you look at what was the audio platform that was launched that a lot of people joined into? Clubhouse, exactly. Yeah. So many platforms like Twitter have taken to Spaces, LinkedIn has an audio room, and they all have this feature now because it's not a platform, it's a feature inside another platform. So
and that is key. That is key. It's what you're finding as a software developer. Are you building a feature or an actual platform itself?
That's the question.
Don't be wrong. It can work. If you look at really back in the days, Facebook, when it was the newsfeed, it was all about the status updates, and then Twitter pretty much took that feature and built it out into a platform, but it was strong enough to. As you mentioned, Clubhouse, actually, was that just a feature, really? Because obviously it's proven to be more of a feature on the likes of Twitter or X, LinkedIn, and some of the other ones. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting space, this, because
definitely
when it comes to these AI assistants, so again, I don't know if everyone knows what we mean by these AI assistants, but essentially it's you log into Zoom and then you get a piece of software. So I think Sybil, was it Sybil?
Sybil, yeah. Sybil is one of them that you can just join in and attend basically as a virtual employee and transcribe the entire conversation that you're having with a prospect or a colleague or whoever it is. And even Sybil was a bit more advanced than others, and Zoom will have to compete with this because they give you a timeline that you zoom in and they color code the timeline in different topics, and it's very useful as like reference for after your call about the, and it takes notes that are important key takeaways of the meeting.
Yeah, summarizes it. You can join in and just summarize.
Exactly.
Yes,
But
the
I'd
last
say
30
all
minutes.
of that. One thing it can't do is live interactions. And that's what I've seen on the Zoom demo, is that one of the examples they used was an employee joins a meeting late, so they're 20 minutes late to the meeting. They can actually ask the AI chatbot to summarize the first 20 minutes of the meeting that you just missed, and it will give them a very quick, like, here's the things you need to catch up on, so that you can then partake in the call with all of the knowledge of what's been talked about. And I don't feel like any of those platforms can do live things like that. So they may even be one-upping it in this new internal one because they have the live information to be able to do it with.
But is this going to be a situation where it's big bank takes little bank? So you're going to have thousands of these, as you said, your mate create Google Chrome extensions that's connected to do with AI, or other like whole platforms where it's a feature on part of ChatGPT or Zoom, etc. But it's a case where all these big companies will then just say, what are the best ones? And let's just bring it in-house, or buy them and bring it in-house. Because
that's the other option. If it's not easy to recreate, they will just purchase it, essentially. So that a lot of developers actually do it on the basis that they want to be purchased by the company. But if it's easily replicatable, why would the original company purchase it? If they can build it for 1/10 of the cost that they need to purchase it for, essentially they'd just be buying the database of people that use it. But let's say it's the LinkedIn Chrome example. They're already LinkedIn users. There's no benefit to buying the users of that Chrome extension because you had to be on the platform in order to use it. Whereas, and the same goes with Zoom. If you're already using Zoom, you're not going to buy the customer database of somebody that uses a Zoom extension because you already have them as your customers. So essentially recreating the technology is a lot more feasible, even though it seems a bit shady. It's not like they've patented this technology in any way, so it's like you say, it's just a feature that they can add themselves if it proves to be popular, which is exactly what Clubhouse did. It proved audio's popularity.
Yeah, but then Twitter took it, and now look where Clubhouse is. So again, that's always the danger. You got to almost, you see how Angry Birds, when that was created, that was created on top of the platform of Facebook. Like, even if you look back again from when I first started, when I was at MySpace built YouTube. Let's be honest, MySpace was the company that really pushed out the YouTube videos, because people would create a video, upload it to YouTube because that was the best one, and then embed it in MySpace. That's what people were doing back in the day. And there was another site called Slide. I don't know if anyone remembers that site, but Slide, image version of YouTube at the time. Essentially, what MySpace did was they tried to create MySpace TV and tried to create the feature, but it wasn't even remotely as good as YouTube when it comes to that. Now, obviously, years later, so I was working at MySpace, 2006. So again, it's very, very, very early social media world days. What you're seeing is big companies are realizing, okay, people can do this. Let's create, can we make it as good, if not better? Or almost, even if it's not as good, it's good enough to get people to use it. And then we can then hire the relevant people to do that. Now, I was reading the Forbes magazine once, and they said that, I think it was like 56% of people do not like when big companies take out little companies. So it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen in this space, especially in the generative AI space, because so many tools, and I've seen thousands of tools in this generative AI space, are going to be based on that. It's going to be based on, let's build a platform with the risk that the platform can either take you out or do what Twitter did, or X, and that is just change their terms and conditioning, change their APIs, and then all of a sudden you're bankrupt. So it's a very thin line that you're playing if that's what your business is all about.
It's very true, very true. And I'd say that in a nutshell, on this particular subject, you just need to be very careful what you base your business model on, and it needs not to be a feature. It needs to be bigger than a feature.